Edit. FYI, NHI stands for Non-Human Intelligence, UAP stands for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. These are broader and more inclusive terms than the more commonly used terms aliens and UFOs. All signs are pointing to these actually being NHI UAP that are forcing disclosure. Not U.S. military, according to DoD, not a foreign actor, according to DoD, not consumer or commercial drones, far too advanced. At this point, it seems extremely unlikely these are advanced drones from a defense contractor. They would not be allowed to cause mass anxiety and potentially panic, shut down airports and military bases, elicit a massive local and federal response, etc. Also, this is a worldwide phenomenon. Update: the Pentagon press secretary was directly asked about whether defense contractors could be running these drones, and he said no. In my opinion, these are NHI that are currently appearing as drones to give the government the chance to come clean and disclose on their own. It's a soft launch. They are demonstrating their capabilities and their willingness to be visible without doing anything overtly malicious. The DoD and the federal government are trying to figure out what to do. They don't want to admit to an inability to provide security to the American people, so they're not being transparent about their inability to detect, track, disable, capture, or eliminate this potential threat. It is not believable that they would allow these incursions over the most sensitive military installations to occur continuously with impunity. They simply can't do anything about it. In the UK, they've tried to intercept them with F-16s to no avail. My guess is they are scrambling to figure out messaging. If this is actually happening, it will be the most important message ever delivered to the American people and the world. And there are all kinds of implications beyond what is happening now. They would then be on the hook for explaining what's been going on for the past 80 years. Will the Biden administration deliver the message? Will they wait for the Trump admin to take over? How much time will the NHI give them before they take off their disguises and turn this into a hard launch? Motherships over cities in broad daylight, landing on the White House lawn, etc. It's going to be an interesting few months, and right now the ball is in the government's court. NHI are saying shit or get off the pot. The veil is coming off one way or another. Buckle up. Edit. NHI stands for Non-Human Intelligence, inclusive of extraterrestrials, but not exclusive of other potential origins, like another Earth species, interdimensional beings, AI, time travelers, etc. Edit number 2. I'm getting a lot of repeat questions, so I'm going to answer the most common ones here. 1. Q. Why would they disclose to the U.S., insinuating typical American egocentrism? Answer: U.S. has the largest military in the world, has the second most nuclear weapons, and a long history with UAP. See Major 12, Roswell, Area 51, Immaculate Constellation, etc. There are logical reasons why this activity would be most prominent in the U.S. beyond American arrogance. Q. Why would they choose New Jersey? Answer: it's the most densely populated state in the country, so if you want to be seen, this would logically be a good place to appear. There are multiple military installations in New Jersey, certainly not unique to New Jersey to be fair, and several sensitive targets they may want to surveil. Lastly, they're reportedly coming from the ocean, so perhaps New Jersey happens to be physically close to an underwater base in the Atlantic if that's indeed where they're coming from. Same holds true for Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, where they also appeared. Note that there are reports of similar sightings from several other states as well, including New York, PA, California, Oregon, and Ohio. Q. Is this only happening in the U.S.? Answer: it's not. It's been confirmed to be happening at multiple military bases in the UK as well as in Germany. It's also been reported by Ross Cowthart that his sources in Russia, China, Pakistan, Indonesia, and other countries are also experiencing this phenomenon. Q. Why would you trust anything the DoD says? I don't. I look at the language used, the setting, audience, corroborating reports from other government officials, investigative reporters, and insiders. I look at possible motives and desired outcomes, and I look at what's happening on the ground to assess the degree to which I believe what they are saying. In this particular case, my sense is that this statement was more or less true. I think some information is clearly being omitted. How can they say they don't know what something is, yet also declared that it is not a threat to national security or public safety? But this statement was pretty unambiguous, and I don't think the DoD likes to look incompetent. If this ultimately turns out to be a bold-faced lie, it's going to look pretty bad because they didn't really soften the language to leave a lot of wiggle room. They can't just pull the rug out and say, "Oh, we were lying and we've known the whole time what was going on." Q. Why would UAP have FAA-compliant lighting, etc.? Also, why are they not exhibiting the 5 observables? Answer. They are mimicking man-made craft, which has been reported in the past, as a way to ease the disclosure process. If they showed up as flying saucers, people would freak out. This is part of the soft launch of disclosure, a way to help humanity adjust to a new reality, and they want to do it gradually so people can adjust at a pace they can psychologically handle. Also, mixed in with all of the drone sightings is a fair amount of anomalous sightings, orbs, plasma balls, instant acceleration or change of direction, etc. And also, one of the 5 observables is low observability, and these drones apparently do not show up on radar or infrared, cannot be identified or tracked, go dark when approached, and easily outmaneuver man-made drones, helicopters, and fighter pilots. Another point is that they may have FAA-compliant lighting, but 1. They go dark when approached, so they have no problem not being FAA-compliant when the need arises, and 2. They are flying into restricted airspace over sensitive military installations, so being FAA-compliant does not appear to be a chief concern. A compelling example of recent anomalous behavior is covered in this video, which captures communications between commercial pilots over Oregon with orb-like objects moving at hypersonic speeds, quickly changing altitude and direction. Q. If the NHI want to disclose their presence, why they would not just land on the White House lawn, undisguised, in broad daylight? Answer. 1. This is a soft launch. They do not want to cause mass panic, ontological shock, or societal collapse. They want to slowly acclimate the public to a new reality, and they want to do it gradually so people can adjust at a pace they can psychologically handle. Also, ideally, they want world leaders to be the ones to disclose to the rest of humanity. It will be a lot easier for people to accept this paradigm shift if the message is delivered by our own kind, in our own language, on our own terms, than if the NHI themselves have to deliver the message. Therefore, the NHI are trying to influence the government to do this by displaying their presence and capabilities without full-on, undisguised, catastrophic disclosure. Aren't these just commercial drones or misidentified helicopters and aircraft? Not according to reports from law enforcement and government officials on the ground describing their behavior and capabilities. There has been reports that were misidentified aircraft, but if you've been following the story, most folks are using flight tracking apps to confirm that there are no aircraft in the vicinity before reporting. How many commercial drones do you know of that cannot be detected, identified, or tracked by radar or infrared, that can stay aloft for 6 to 7 hours, that are the size of a USV, that can operate in winds exceeding 50 miles per hour and travel at speeds of over 60 miles per hour, that go dark when approached, that deactivate and discharge consumer drones that approach, and that can easily evade police drones, helicopters, and F-16s. They scrambled F-16s to intercept them in the UK, but were easily evaded. There is video of this. Why does our military, with all of its tech, not track or follow these things to their origin or destination? Also, it's been reported that the military tried to take them down during the incursion over Langley, but they were unsuccessful. Doesn't really sound like commercial drones.